Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments and news for residents about what's going on in the city. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, November 14th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our city manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here, Andy.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, and I guess one thing that I've heard some buzz about going around the city is South Keller Street, and there's been a reconstruction project of the road over there. And we'll just give a little bit of an update about what's happening.
Sure. Well, this is a project that is only pavement, but was really starting to fail when we did some inspections. So we started that in earnest this fall, and concrete pouring should be done by the end of this week. Certainly subject to the weather. I do want to let everybody know that all of the businesses there on Keller are open and accessible during the construction, so don't be discouraged by that. The access is actually pretty good. Now it varies day by day, but you can get in there fairly easily. It's just a one-way street right now, and it may be a little inconvenient either getting to it or getting out of it, but it's still doing well. But the additional work, including the restoration and the pavement striping will be happening very soon once all the concrete pouring is done. But we're really close to getting this done, and our goal is to have South Keller open by November 17th. So we're getting very close, and appreciate everybody's patience throughout this whole project.
Sure, and it looks like they're making great progress there. So it looks like their goal of November 17th looks like it's right on track. So and looks like some good weather coming up too. So hopefully they'll be able to get that finished up. Okay, we wanted to make mention also that there's a major project coming around for our assessors division, the 2024 property revaluation, and just to get it out there for folks that to be aware that this is coming around.
Yeah, well, this is really about an issue of fairness to make sure that properties are valued as close to market conditions as they can be. And with everything that's been going on the last few years, and given the fact that the last full revaluation that was actually done in the city was back in 2017, and pretty much over the course of my career, about 7 years is about the right amount of time between assessments. So we're really on track to be doing this, but we want to make sure that some properties may be going up in value faster than others, and this is really to get everybody back into what market conditions currently are. And so you're going to be seeing more information about the revaluation soon, and the assessor's office is going to have a new web page, so we certainly want people to be aware of that.
Sure, and we are involved in creating a video that explains all the details about revaluation and what it entails. So that will be also posted on that website. We just wanted to clarify too that this is for residential and commercial properties as well.
Right, and so we really want to make sure that this whole revaluation is done fairly. And while valuation is a function of how your taxes are calculated, it's not the only thing, but it's certainly one that adds a better element of fairness once it's completed. It's not just about value that impacts your taxes. Certainly what the council does, it's budget season, whatever they do with the tax levy is really the key indicator of taxes going up or down.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that insight. We wanted to highlight over at the Oshkosh Senior Center, they have a new program called Get Set Up, and it looks like this is an online service that they are providing, at least to get it going here as they get this going. And they have a presenter that's coming on November 21st to share some information about this.
Yeah, well, this Get Set Up it's an online community of active agers who want to learn new skills, connect with others, and unlock new life experiences. It goes beyond what the traditional senior center is for, but these are all online classes. They're interactive video chat programs, and they cover a variety of topics like fitness, cooking, art, travel, and a lot more. So again, you mentioned it's going to get launched on November 21st with a Get Set Up presenter who will share information on how you can use this program. And the center is going to use this for about 6 months in a trial program just to see how it works, and gives anyone who participates at the center access to these online classes.
And if it is successful, the center will pursue funding to cover that annual fee ongoing. So this is kind of a trial, but we have to see how it goes.
And the idea is it's no cost to the participants. So
Right.
as a person who's interested in senior activities, you can try these out at no cost, no obligation, and then the senior center will decide, is this something that we want the seniors in Oshkosh to be receiving as a service?
Sure. And AT&T did provide a grant earlier this year, and that is providing some of the funding for getting this going.
Yeah, they wanted to promote programs that use technology, and this is obviously one of those. So we're very appreciative of AT&T for making this grant available to make this trial program happen.
Right. And if folks have any questions about this, they can get all the details at the Senior Center by calling 920-232-5300. Okay. Mark, also one of our quality of life assets that we have here in our community is the Oshkosh Public Museum. And in addition to the museum itself, it's important for them to have that public outreach. And one of those important tools that they have for that is their website. And they've just done a fantastic job of redoing that and making it much more user-friendly and accessible.
Well, it sure has a visual splash to it, which is great. And our museum and our information technology staff have been working together to get this new designed website. It's still OshkoshMuseum.org, but the new site offers increased use, ease of use, and accessibility. And you can just see some of the examples, whether it's active exhibits that are going on or just updates on new activities, resources that the museum has that people may not know about. And of course, we want to emphasize the programs that we provide to youth, which is a big emphasis these days, as well as some of the things that are going on the second floor. Give a little update on those types of things. But historic photographs is something you see on the slide right now. That's something that we have a great collection of photographs that people may not be aware of, and certainly it's those resources that we want people to be aware of and certainly take advantage of.
Absolutely. And we encourage folks to go to OshkoshMuseum.org and kind of explore that website and see what they all have to offer there. All right. Then also over at the Oshkosh Police Department, speaking of new looks for things, they have a new squad car that has a new design, and we wanted to share a little about that.
Every once in a while, the police department will take a look at their squad cars and just be a little more update and everything. And this new design was selected by an employee committee that recommended this to Chief Smith. This is only one vehicle right now because that's the only one that's brand new. We don't paint old cars. When new cars come in, we get them painted. So this new design will be phased in as the new vehicles are added to the fleet. And this is consistent with the design of police squad cars in other communities. It's sort of the newest, latest thing that gives you immediate identity for the police. But you can see there's a younger influence on this. An old guy like me isn't the one making these calls and everything. But it does have a nice new splash to it, and it'll certainly, you'll see these roll out as we replace vehicles in our current fleet.
Sure. So be looking for the new design on the road. I actually happened to see it yesterday going down Main Street, and so you'll be seeing it around, and as we add the new vehicles, you'll be seeing the design. All right. We also wanted to point out that the city's forestry division has been very busy this year with replacement of terrace trees, and they've been quite successful at that.
Well, they sure have. You know, this is all having to do with the devastation that was caused by the emerald ash borer. But I think we've learned our lesson with that, and I think a lot of communities are now starting to take a look at that. But this year, 390 new trees were planted. And in October alone, just this past month, 116 trees were planted. So our forestry division has been very busy getting new trees planted. But the real difference is the number of different trees that we're doing. 35 different species have been identified to plant as new trees in our area. And what the experts tell us is that having smaller quantities of many species, it really helps create a more resilient, diverse urban forest that's less affected by any single threat, like an emerald ash borer. If one of these species of trees was hit by a disease, it would be 1 in 35 trees that would be getting hit, rather than almost 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 trees. I mean, we had a lot of ash trees in town, and now pretty much they're gone. So
Absolutely.
This is a wonderful thing. And there's other benefits, though, that a lot of people don't think about too much, but terrace trees also soak up a large quantity of stormwater. When it rains, the trees just love to drink up that water. And it slows and filters the water to mitigate flooding and runoff pollution. So it has a lot of benefits by having these trees. So some people may say, oh, I don't want a tree on my front yard, but it actually helps control flooding in your immediate neighborhood, which is great for everybody.
Right. In addition to the beauty of the tree itself, it's actually accomplishing a lot of important things beyond the look of the tree. So
it helps cool your house in the summer, and it helps actually keep it warmer in the winter. So all those benefits are there. And if I want to thank the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, their Taking Root Fund. They've done a lot to raise funds for that. So if you are so inclined, you can certainly make a donation over to the Taking Root Fund 2 over at the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, and you can help contribute towards more tree plantings. The city's been matching those funds as well, so it's a great public-private partnership that we have there.
Right. And if anybody would like more information about that program, or just about terrace trees in general and how you might request one for your terrace, contact Travis Dirks. He's the Landscape Operations Manager in the Parks Department. His number is 920-236-5080, and he'd be happy to help you out. All right, and then also speaking of trees, the loose leaf collection is underway in Oshkosh until November 17th.
Yeah, the trucks have been going through the neighborhood since mid-October, so it's been a few weeks. It's just a reminder to everybody, the leaves are picked up the day after your regular garbage day. Now, sometimes they catch up and fall behind and stuff like that, but generally that's what they do. So if your goal is get them out, take in your garbage and put the leaves out. Please, leaves only, no grass or brush or garden plants. It's really just about the leaves. Pile them on the terrace. Please don't put them out in the gutter, where the stormwater could get disrupted and clogged up. But you see our little, we call it our little elephant trunk that goes out and does a very effective job. And we can get out to all the way to your sidewalk to get rid of those leaves and everything. The loose leaves collection's going to end on November 17th, so we got just a little over a week left. So start raking your leaves. It should be a nice weekend for you to do some leaf raking.
And if anyone has questions on that, please contact the sanitation office at 232-5383. All right, Mark, it's about time that we take a short break here, and we'll be back right after this with a look at the upcoming council agenda for the upcoming Oshkosh Common Council meeting. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with our City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, November 14th Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So Mark, we have under our consent agenda, we have an item, let's see here, we're looking at some items for our water filtration plant.
Yeah, a lot of discussion in recent months has been about the Clearwells project, but there's other things going on at the water filtration plant that are being done kind of in conjunction, but not directly related to the Clearwells project. A lot of this is inside the plant, but we have to do some reinvestment of some items in there that are over 20 years old. We have our corrosion control chemical system. You know, we use chlorine in our process and other chemicals that can have a very corroding impact on some of the pipes and some of the other control systems in there. And that's $750,000 in getting that corrosion control equipment in there. And then the big part of the plant that you don't see because it's all behind the walls is how the water's sanitized. And we use what's called an ozone treatment system. And that is, again, over 20 years old. And by the time we get it fully replaced, it'll be 25 years old. And this is a bid award for almost $5.5 million in ozone equipment that needs to be replaced. So both of those items are going to be part of this process, and we're actually getting this done before we start working on the Clearwells because it's items that are just long overdue. But this is about sanitizing our water, so this is probably the most important part of the process is get the water we take in from Lake Winnebago and sanitize it before we give it out to the public.
Right. Well, there are a lot of elements that go into providing clean, quality water service to our residents, and this is an important one.
Yeah, and ozone is a state-of-the-art system, so I can tell you that we've got some of the best water treatment processes in place, but every once in a while you have to replace that equipment, and we'll certainly be looking forward to that. We'll be talking a lot about this over the next couple of years.
Okay, all right, very good. Then we also have an agenda item where we are approving awarding a bid for the Rouge Park Trail project.
This has been a project that's been in the works for a number of years. We have some old trails that just kind of dead end as you get closer to Traeger School, and then we've had some new subdivisions that have been growing to the west since then. In fact, the Plan Commission just approved a trail easement in one of the subdivisions that are growing, and then that area that you see, that existing trail easement, we're adding something to get into that subdivision and then connect into Rouge Park that's off to the right of this on your screen. So the whole idea is to get our trail system tied into what already gets out to Traeger and get it out to the west and eventually get it out closer to the YMCA. This is about a $400,000 project. We've got some funds that have been set aside for future park development, as well as some neighborhood funds that we've identified, but we know that the neighbors out there would like to get the trail system expanded, and we're happy to be working with them to get that all done.
Right. There's a lot of expansion in that area, and it's great to see that parks and trails are all part of that. And
the trails absolutely get used, so we're excited to be able to expand our trail system to the west so that they can connect to the as areas go to the east.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Then we have a pending ordinance, and we're looking for a zone change for some properties located in the 600 block of North Main Street. And so this will be quite a new look for that area.
Yeah, and this actually backs up to Jefferson Street. These are properties that our redevelopment authority has owned. So you'll see the dark gray in this graphic. Those are where these proposed multifamily housing is going to be built, and then the lighter gray is in the back where you won't see the parking from the street. Very similar to what you see in the downtown where the buildings are more up to the street and parking is on the back side. This is going to be a similar thing, but the Redevelopment Authority, the RDA, has awarded a proposal to sell this land to a development group that is going to put some great multifamily housing into the downtown areas. So you can see it's much more compatible with a downtown type of setup where the buildings are right up to the sidewalk, and that's what you see all throughout the downtown.
Right.
So there's a couple renderings here that give you an idea, but the Redevelopment Authority has awarded this proposal based on what they've seen, and this is on the backside what you'll see, but it'll be an area that families can be included. There'll be a play area, but that'll be outside of the front view, and just gives you an example of something that's going to be adding some great benefit to the downtown area. We know that there are people who want to live in the downtown area, and this gives a different vibe than just a regular type of apartment building. A little more homey. It's more townhouse type of setup as well. So we're excited that we're going to be able to add this as another housing option in downtown Oshkosh.
I was going to say, it offers another opportunity to address our housing concerns and a great look.
Yeah, so we're happy to add this, and so look forward to this in the coming months.
Very good. All right, then we have under our new resolutions, we have a big one here, Mark. This is our 2024 annual budget. This has been months of work. I know that you've been you spent quite a few hours on this. And if you could just give us a little bit of some highlights of what we're looking at with this budget package.
Well, as you mentioned, the council as well as staff have been working on this since the summer. We've actually had 5 total budget workshops, including 2 all-day workshops on October 30th and 31st. And based on departmental presentations to the council, talking about priorities that are embedded in our strategic plan, the budget is one way we deliver and we implement the recommendations from the strategic plan. We also had a budget workshop the other day following a public hearing. Actually, there was no public input given at the meeting. I don't know how you read into that, but it certainly says that we've got a lot of information out there and to educate people on what some of our priorities are doing. And then the council did some follow-up. They spent a good deal of time talking about our capital improvement program, as well as the some of the things that we needed to do with respect to utilizing the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA, and making sure that we have all those funds committed by the end of 2024. This is the 2024 budget. It seems like we had all this time, but we only have a year yet to commit these funds. We have until the end of 26 to spend them, so that was a big part of it. And then the operating side, you've heard me talk for months about shared revenue and how that's a funding program from the state. That's our second largest revenue source in our general fund. And our general fund is about $56 million. And this is about an $11 million shared revenue program, which is a $2 million increase over what we've been getting for a number of years. Now, I would say that we got the shared revenue reform and relief in the nick of time, and I want to thank the legislators for recognizing that inflation was having a big impact on us, as well as just whether it's compensation to have comparable wages, competitive wages, as well as just inflation for things like road salt and fuel and things like that, where the costs have continued to go up, as well as general inflation for contracts and things like that. So we had to address that, and this extra $2 million in shared revenue made up for a lot of the increases that we're continuing to see. We're a service business, and so about 75 to 80% of our general fund are people, and so wages and competitive wages are a huge part of that. So we're happy that we've made some good progress in that regard.
Right. Quite a bit of work on this. And if folks would like to review any of those meetings that took place and take a look back at what was discussed, they are all posted on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel, so you can take a look and learn a little bit more about how the budget was developed. Okay, then speaking of those American Rescue Plan Act funds, it looks like we have an item where we're allocating some of those funds to the Downtown Oshkosh Business Improvement District.
Yeah, the Downtown Business Improvement District, or BID, they actually made a request for some funding in the budget, and I was not in a position to recommend that on a permanent basis. But I had some good discussions with the BID Board of Directors, and they identified a need to expand some of the services they provide outside of the bid boundaries, so in other parts of the downtown area, and they believe they can get themselves in a position to be self-sufficient on these extra funds if they can get a bridge for a couple years out to 2027. We have to use our ARPA funds by the end of 2026. So for 2024 through 2026, I'm recommending $100,000 a year be allocated to the Business Improvement District to give them the opportunity to do fundraising so they can then no longer need those funds and be able to go self-sustaining on some of the programs they want to do, marketing they want to do for the downtown area. So this will be sort of a bridge grant to get them to the next step.
Looks like some good opportunities for improving our downtown there too. So, all right, then we also have, and this is a major project also for our downtown area, the new hospital, and we're approving a general development plan and specific implementation plan for that project.
Yeah, this is the Theta Care micro hospital facility that they had announced about a year ago. They're working through some mergers with Freighter, so that took them a little more time as they were trying to get all of their other projects aligned with what they're doing with Freighter. But this is the one that is recommended by the Plan Commission to the council based on what the Theta Care had resubmitted to us. Doesn't put the hospital right on Oregon Street. It actually puts it in the middle of the area. With the bridge work getting worked on Oregon Street by the end of the decade, I think it was wise for Theta Care to keep the hospital off the site. But it took them a little more time to redesign this, and I know they got some input from the neighbors, and the Plan Commission took a look at this, and they're recommending this to council. And I think it's going to be a wonderful addition to health services in the downtown area, because our other two hospitals are on the west side, so this provides an added element. Plus, I think it's going to be a great addition to the downtown. The views that they're proposing, very low key, but very very nice looking, and I think when you look at it from the river or from the street, you're going to see a great addition to our neighborhoods.
Very good, thank you. Then we also have one of our items here toward the end of the meeting, continuing our discussion of special assessment options. And if you could just briefly tell us a little bit about what those options might be.
This has been an ongoing discussion for probably 10 years with the council. I think they've kind of come to agreement that they want to eliminate special assessments, but the solution and how we do that has really been the challenge. Back in August at one of our budget work sessions, the council said, we would like you to take a look at a way to completely replace the street portion of special assessments, not the utility part, but the street part. And so the staff identified 5 different options that they could vary from one, emphasize one over another. There's 5 different options that they're kicking around. A transportation utility fee was rejected by the council as the sole solution a few years ago, but we've identified that as one option. But that's going through the court system right now, and there's some uncertainty about what could happen, and I think there's a reluctance right now to proceed with that. But we presented it as one option, not the only option, but just one way to do it. There's also the vehicle registration fee, also commonly known as a wheel tax. There's some equity issues with that, but if we're not relying totally on that, then it lessens some of the equity issues. So the council is taking a look at that, at least in part. There's general obligation borrowing, whether you do it for the street or do it for the sidewalks, which we borrow for the portion of sidewalks that we don't assess for. So if we borrow for the part we do assess, that might help replace that as well. And then finally, there's another one that we've been looking at with using our utilities that dig up the street but don't pay anything for the restoration of the street. And it's very common for some communities to charge a utility for a portion of the street part that is caused by them digging up the street. So if we're doing utility replacement, it may be appropriate to charge a utility for some of that rather than the general taxpayers. But we're all paying for it, whether we're paying for it as a taxpayer or a utility user. That's one of those things that the council is going to debate. So you'll hear more of that discussion at Tuesday's meeting.
Okay, and it could be a combination of all of that, really.
All the above. So
All the above.
We'll take a look at that.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks, Mark, for your insights today. We had a lot to talk about.
It's always a pleasure, Andy.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in. And again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, November 14th at City Hall, which is located at 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that live on GovTV, Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen on the radio at Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online through the TuneIn Radio app. So thanks again for joining us. Join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.